Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Troy, your host. We are live and recording.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for today's Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 Board of County Commissioners business meeting. Before we get started, we would like to invite up Darren Kessler to do our invocation. And obviously today we are taking a moment to reflect and pause and think about the lives that have been lost in Texas, particularly the young people. Thank you, Darren, for praying into that situation. And obviously, as a county, we take the health, safety, and welfare of all those we represent very seriously. Darren?
Thank you. Let's do that, everyone, please. We'll pause, and then I'll close us. God, thank you that we can come here in Colorado and pray for those in Texas, pray for the many families of experiencing loss. And so we thank you that we're praying to a God who does care, even though we don't always understand. So we pray for each one individually. We pray for all the first responders, volunteers, and people who have gone there, including Colorado people. We pray for their safety, for their own mental health of seeing so much trauma and tragedy. So we pray for them. Help as they come back, for people to come around them, and encouragement and support as well. We thank you that in this public arena we can pray for our other state and for those representing Colorado there. I pray for this meeting as well, all that is said. You are a loving God who moves with love and grace. I pray that what you've asked us to do would be done in our lives as well, that we would love others as you love us. Thank you that they've chosen to bring each meeting together with an invocation. We ask this in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Darren. Appreciate that. I'm going to open it up for any commissioner comments.
Well, in keeping, obviously, it was a real tragedy that we saw occur down in Texas. I'm having been in a flood area during the Big Thompson Canyon flood back in the 1970s. And having been, at the time, I was still a child, I do understand exactly how, the impact that a flood like that has. And, when we talk about Colorado, I think we need to bear in mind, and I would hope we can hear a little bit from the county manager and staff pertaining to things that have been done here in Douglas County and that are still being done here in Douglas County to mitigate these sorts of natural disasters. I always am mindful. I remember very well when State Treasurer Roy Romer said, here in Colorado, especially here on the Front Range, we are a society at the foot of 1,000 funnels. And although that is not something that's been of great effect in recent history here in Douglas County, one of the more significant events in our history was in 1965 with the floods. And so I think we should bear that in mind and keep that ever in our planning, regardless of where a flood may occur elsewhere in our country.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Van Winkle.
And I do appreciate us taking a moment, especially it was just a horrendous tragedy. It was very difficult to even read the news stories on the topic. And even right here in Douglas County, we lost a dad was paddleboarding with his two kids at Chatsfield yesterday, and he lost his life. Thankfully, the two children were able to be rescued, but he was not. And it is just a constant reminder to us as commissioners, I believe, that we need to work closely as possible with the experts in search and rescue, law enforcement, fire, emergency response, and just kind of keep the first things first about being a commissioner, and that's keeping the people of Douglas County safe as possible.
Well, thank you for that, commissioners. And I know we stand very closely with our citizens and those across the nation that are mourning the loss of life. I believe as of last count, it was about 109 lives that have been lost, 87 in Kirk County alone. That included children, counselors, grandparents, neighbors, and friends. We're very thankful in Douglas County to be served by an incredible Department of Emergency Management that looks out for these issues, but we know a lot of citizens have questions about how our county is responding to the threat of an emergency and the threat of potential danger to our community. We've talked a lot about wildfires and, being the only county in the state that has a dedicated heli-tac team. We're fighting those fires pretty actively, but I did want to make sure that our county manager and perhaps Janet Herman from our Public Works Department could share a little bit with us about what specifically our county is doing to prevent and proactively prepare for any sort of emergency. Doug?
And I do know our emergency manager is en route in case you have any questions for him as well. Mike will be here. Zach heads up a lot of our rain gauges, so we could introduce a little bit about our rain gauges in Douglas County for flash floods.
As Doug said, Zach's our expert on our rain gauges, so I'm going to let him talk about that.
Great. Thanks, Janet. Hi, Zach.
Howdy. I appreciate you all letting me have a moment to share with you. I'm very proud to say our county's been very proactive. And credit to my successors, following the Hayman burn, got very active in implementing a broad gauge network to ensure that Denver and downstream recipients, namely our county, would be fully apprised prior to a flood event. As a part of that alert network, which feeds multiple OEMs across the state, again, namely the metro areas, we've been able to provide support proactive data to inform our FEMA disaster mitigation planning, which looks out into the future and provides our county the ability to take, like I said, proactive measures to reduce our flood risk and our flood risk rates to our communities. We have, and I'm proud to say, some of the lowest rates in the Front Range as a result of that vigilance and diligence, which again, credit to my successors, has really shown well for our staff. In addition to that infrastructure, we also attenuate huge volumes in our NRCS or SCS dams network. So working in concert, we have both flood gauges to alert us to a risk, as well as dams to attenuate those received flows, which again is kind of unique to our county in the Front Range. So very proud to say our county's been very proactive in sustaining and maintaining that infrastructure in concert with our gauges and being alerted and aware of what's coming. That mitigation plan and our flood risk rates indicate some success, I think, that staff will continue to build on in the future. And while our hearts go out to those that have lost so much in Texas, I think our staff, I'm very proud to be a part of something that's been as proactive and forward-thinking. Again, big credit to my successors. I'm going to do my best to carry that forward.
Great, thank you for that, Zach. So just maybe for any normal citizen that's listening to this and maybe has some concerns, walk us through a hypothetical where there is a sudden flash flood. I'm a fifth-generation Coloradan, and like many, we know the history of Colorado with regard to flash flooding. What would that look like from a Douglas County perspective?
Absolutely. We've actually in the county experienced a landscape scale forming event back in the 60s, right? Today, back then, we didn't have a gauge network and the complex communication systems we do. If today we experienced a storm of that intensity and that duration, where you're talking about, say, in Mitchell Gulch, we had hundreds of thousands of acre feet of water in a very short period of time, our alert network would be able to inform our OEM, the Mile High Flood District's alert network to put out the warning, right, which many of our staff are on that, to start implementing disaster response planning, right? Shutting down routes where people would be susceptible or liable, right? Homeowners that are in higher risk areas, we could alert those folks as well to say, hey, you need to take action. We need to prepare you for this, right? So the response time, instead of, hey, it's happening right now, I see water in my living room, moves out to, we're seeing accumulation rates in the watershed that gives us hours or or more time to get people alerted to that risk.
That's great. So, again, in a county that has over 51% open space and a lot of folks that spend time recreating in our open space, do you envision a scenario where people could get stranded and not have access to communications?
I think given the prevalence and coverage of the cellular service that most people have and the alert network getting to cell phones so quickly, I'm much less concerned than I would have been, say, a decade ago.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Zach. Tremendous work. We certainly appreciate Public Works Engineering, the Office of Emergency Management as well. We would ask all of our citizens to please sign up for Code Red, which is also an alert that would let you know of any emergent wildfire danger. We're also issuing a lot of communications to your HOAs and metro districts. So please continue to stay in touch with us and do sign up for Code Red to get those alerts. Anything additional from the board? Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you'll all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Attorney Garcia, do we have certification of today's agenda?
You do, sir. The county attorney's office reviewed all items on the agenda, and you have appropriate jurisdiction over these matters.
Great, thank you. And do any commissioners have disclosures for items on this agenda?
No, sir.
No.
And I have none either. With that, we're going to move on to item 2, which is ceremonies and proclamations. And we are incredibly honored to be honoring Yana founder Nikki Brooker. Who would like to present on that?
Mike.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mike Hill, Executive Director of Douglas County Health Department. And it's my honor to introduce Nikki today. Nikki Brooker is truly a huge asset to this county. Many people might not be aware of what she's doing, but she's making a difference not just now, but in the long-term future of Douglas County. And hopefully her program will spread wider than that and help everyone in Colorado, if not the nation. Just an incredible lady. So I'm going to try and babble somewhat incoherently here and read off my notes and tell you some great things about Nikki. So Nikki founded an organization called Yana, You Are Not Alone, in 2017, following some tragic events which affected her life in such a way that she felt she needed to do something. And unlike those of us who would sit by and say, I wish I had done something, she actually did and is doing something. So Yana, I know Nikki because she collaborates with us on the Healthy Families Partnership. Yana has a program called Strong Mamas and Thriving Babies. What this involves is Nikki's organization reaching out to every new mother in the hospital she's affiliated with to give them not just information on how to be a new mom, but to hook them up with peers and counselors. Because being a mother is a tough job. I understand. I've not had that job before, but I understand from people I know that's a very tough job. Women get very challenged. We end up having suicides, drug problems, all kinds of issues because nobody taught these people how to become a mom and how to do a good job at it. But Nikki and her staff just go in with information, updates. They keep the moms connected. They're signed up with an app so that they can talk amongst themselves. She brings them for in-person groups with speakers and so that they can interact together and help each other learn together how to be good mothers and build good families for the future of Douglas County. So the county, your commissioners have provided some funding to this through suicide prevention funds, helping Nikki to expand. I'm not going to try and quote how many hospitals she's in because she's always working to get into more, but doing a great job. And trying to make sure I didn't miss anything important here. But I think I'm going to stop going on and on because I'll just go on. And we have a video to play that might be a little more coherent to speaker than me.
Mike, you did great. True?
moms should feel safe, valued, and accepted.
Good morning, Mama.
That's why Nikki Brooker started Yana. 7 days a week, Yana is at hospitals checking on new moms. And today, Nikki is here at Advent Health, Castle Rock.
Hello there.
Nikki.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Well, we are so grateful to have you in our community. We're so grateful to have Yana in our community. Mental health for moms is a tremendous need. Tell us about Yana.
What we're doing is changing the world one mama at a time because we're making generational mental health change. Yana stands for You Are Not Alone because I knew that moms need to know that they're not alone. So many other countries support their moms in different ways and we don't. This is the hardest job on the planet and it doesn't have to be that way. Let's support the people who create the people.
That makes tremendous sense. You impact the moms and moms impact the kids. It's just building stronger families, stronger people.
Thanks to the commissioners of Douglas County, we were actually given a suicide prevention grant. So we started a new program called Strong Mamas, Thriving Babies. And this program is a hospital-based program where every single mom who gives birth is given a full year of wraparound support for free. We hand them a village of moms all in messy buns and yoga pants and we say, well, you're all going through it, so let's talk about it. Often there are tears at our in-person gatherings over many different things. They've told us this has saved my life. You've given us this community that we wouldn't have otherwise.
Well, if you could, this is a challenge coin from Douglas County. It has our priorities on it: liberty, transparency, fiscal responsibility, and accountability. And you're such a highly valued member of our county, and I hope you'll value it.
Thank you for honoring us and for Douglas County to recognize what we're doing is making such a difference in this community. We really, really appreciate this. Thank you.
Our Hall of Fame inductees are truly amazing people. If you know a person or business that deserves our county's recognition, then go to douglas.co.us, search Hall of Fame, and fill out the nomination form.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Nikki Brooker, newest member of the Douglas County Hall of Fame, to come forward and speak.
Great. Welcome, Nikki. Let's give Nikki a big round of applause.
Thank you so much for this honor. I'm going to tell you some numbers from the last from our program in our nonprofit. 2016 and 2017 is where it all began. 8 years we've been supporting moms since Jennifer Labor and Christy Bienefeld did the unthinkable and took their lives and the lives of their children. 17 months. We've been, because of the Douglas County Commissioner's funding, we've been able to run our Strong Mamas Thriving Babies program. It was all through the ARPA funds. We are in 3 of 4 of Douglas County hospitals. The 3 of them prioritize the mental health of moms. Sidebar, we could really use your help with that 4th one. 98% of moms that we go in and talk to accept our program enthusiastically. Over 70% of those moms that have joined our program are engaged in our program. Over 42% of the families in our programs have utilized the community resources that we refer to them, creating economic impact for our community partners here in Douglas County. We've sent over 80,000 emails. We've sent over 70,000 text messages. We have enrolled, as of today, 3,567 moms. That means we're supporting over 12,484 human beings since the January 2024, just through the Strong Mamas Thriving Babies program. And one more number for you, and it's the number 1. Suicide is the number 1 method of death for moms of babies ages 0 to 12 months. Because of the trust of Douglas County government and our community partners, we are truly changing the world one mama at a time by supporting the people who create the people. Thank you.
Nikki, thanks so much. And I have such fond memories of you at Cherry Hills many, many, many years ago. And, when the MOPS group and all of these amazing moms in Douglas County heard about the tragedy at the Sports Authority and several other tragedies, that you just, you didn't sit back. You stepped up and became really our favorite type of citizen, somebody that sees a problem and then just leans into that charge and makes a difference. As the founder and chair of the Healthy Families Initiative, the difficulty was hearing about all of those terrible child fatalities that were so preventable. Sitting as the Board of Social Services, we often heard about a dad that shook his baby too hard, or a parent that rolled over on their baby at night and just didn't know you can't sleep with a brand new newborn. And you shared with us, we talked about this notion that there aren't any instructions for raising a kid. Until now. I mean, we do have that now. And through the Healthy Families Initiative and Yana and all of your great work, you are visiting with new parents at all of these we're going to get that fourth hospital. I promise you, we're going to work on that. But you're out there with your crew and providing that critical support about what is often unspoken about and unknown, that new parents really do struggle. And it's tough to be out there, especially when you don't have a support network. When you're dealing with postpartum depression and other issues, having peers that can come alongside you is everything. So you are very well deserving of that challenge coin, and we're honored to honor you.
Thank you.
Board?
Well, I had the tremendous honor of shooting that video with Nikki, and I think I already said, I think the video speaks for itself, but I would just like to say this is one of the main reasons why I love the Douglas County Hall of Fame, because we can enshrine forever in our history you and the work you do, but we can also shine the light on you and through you the great, tremendous work that Yana does. It's truly life-changing, it's truly life-saving, and I know this Board of County Commissioners is very honored and supportive of those efforts. And just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here today, allowing us to honor you, and through you, the tremendous work Yana does. As you said, it's generational mental health change, and it's for the better. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for leading the initiative to honor heroes in our community. That's a Commissioner Van Winkle leadership initiative, and we appreciate that. Commissioner Teal?
Thanks, Chair. Nikki, great work. Good work. I remember being a new father with my wife and with our daughter, and thank God we had my in-laws close at hand. A very different situation than the second kid, where it was kind of like, can we go now? But for young mothers, young parents, no, you're doing God's work. I mean, this is exactly what we need, because not everybody, we know we are a largely immigrant population. People have come into Colorado and Douglas County from all over the country, and they don't always have family next door that can kind of provide that extra help that young parents need. So the fact that you're stepping in, you're standing in, and by all the metrics that we've reviewed, you're doing a great job. So well done, great vision, and great execution.
Thank you.
So, Nikki, on behalf of Douglas County, we'd like to come down and present you with a very special certificate, if that's okay.
Sure.
Great. How about another round of applause for Nikki Booker? Yeah, all the Healthy Families folks, Health Department. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Well, that is wonderful. With that, we're going to move on to our consent agenda, which is item 3. I'll first ask, is there any public comment with regard to any item on our consent agenda? Any citizen comment either in the room or online?
Commissioner, I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you, Troy. So with that, I'll close citizen comment, bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I move to approve the requests in all items A through P of the consent agenda.
Second.
So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries unanimously. With that, we're going to move on to item 4, which is our regular agenda for today's business meeting. The first item is item 4A, acceptance of equipment awarded by the Department of Homeland Security, North Central Region Urban Area Security Initiative EOD response vehicle, a bomb truck, matching funds required in the amount of $60,000. Mike McIntosh, Division Chief, presenting for staff. Mike?
Good afternoon. I'm Deputy Daniel Carlin, and this is Detective Ryan White. We'll be presenting on behalf of Chief McIntosh. We're both members of the Douglas County Bomb Team, and we wanted to present our Andros Spartan robot, which is recently acquired by UASI funding, which is the Urban Area Security Initiative from DHS. And the money that was granted to us, it was $359,000 to acquire this robot. But this robot is significant improvement of our response times to any type of bomb calls. Additionally, the equipment that's added to it allows us to be more remote when dealing with any type of suspicious package or device. And I have a short video to play of an event that we used the other day where we used the robot.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
So a quick overview on that call. We had a call up in Sedalia that there was some found dynamite in somebody's shed. Well, that was inside of a metal case, and inside that case usually can house from 3 to 5 dynamite sticks. Dynamite over time will sweat and can become very unstable to the point where if you drop it from a foot off the ground, it could detonate. So we did it completely remote, utilizing the robot to take it out to that spot and detonate it. Previously, our older robot had a lot of malfunctions with it. We would not have been able to accomplish the same thing we accomplished with this robot, and could have potentially put our lives in danger, removing that item from the shed and putting it into the pre-dug hole we did. That's pretty much a quick overview of the robot. Do you have any specific questions on that before we move over to the bomb truck?
You know, if it's okay with the board, I'd like to consolidate both A and B to just ensure we're saving a little time here. It looks like they're related to the same issue. So if you want to present on that as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm Detective Ryan White with Douglas County Bomb Squad. So we recently received a grant through the Urban Area Security Initiative, UASI, through the Department of Homeland Security to purchase a new bomb truck for the team. We've kind of faced a time where a lot of our equipment's outdated, and we've just now recently got the approval to get a new bomb truck, which will better our efforts to respond to calls quickly, allow us to get into more places. It's a lot smaller package, so we can get into smaller neighborhoods without having to drive, say, the robot or walk further to get closer to devices and whatnot. This is just an image of the truck that we will be purchasing, as well as on top of the grant that we received through UASC, the county and the commissioners also provided $60,000 to go towards this truck, as the purchase of this truck as well. We're in the very beginning stages of buying this truck. We just started the process about a month ago. Once everything is finalized through UASC, it'll be a 500-day build to build the truck, which should start in about 2 weeks to a month.
Great. Anything additional?
We just want to thank your support for getting these UASC grant money. We needed the commissioners and the help of the county in order to us to bid for them. This has been a significant upgrade for Douglas County and Douglas County Bomb Squad in order for us to respond to calls efficiently and effectively. We are receiving approximately 1 call per week for the bomb squad, depending whether it's a hoax device or real device. We are active, very active within the county and utilizing a good equipment that's new to us, and it works really well. It's a big upgrade from what we had before.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for that. I'm going to open it up to the board for any questions.
I have no questions, but we have had tremendous meetings with the Department of Homeland Security on their campus in Washington, D.C., and am very proud to see the Department of Homeland Security coming through big time for the people of Douglas County and for our boys in blue, our men and women that serve on the front lines. This will make their lives safer, your life safer, and in the end make all of Douglas County a safer place to live.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Teal.
I don't think I have any questions. I think this is great, though. The acquisition of the 2 pieces of equipment, I mean, obviously it's not only lends itself to the safety in the community, but to you guys also. I mean, obviously these are real game changers. I guess a question I would have, so with this truck, is it just for carrying gear, or do you also have the capability of doing on-vehicle detonations there, or will you have, I can't remember what it was called from my time in the military, but do you have the safe ordnance carrying capability there?
So this vehicle itself is for carrying gear. We already have a containment vessel for doing detonations inside of if we need to, or transporting it to a safe location that we use to detonate different devices.
Cool. Very cool.
That's great. And then I'm going to ask the practical question. Obviously we've seen some serious potential bomb threats as recently as this year, particularly in Ponderosa High School, where a young man brought in something that people perceived to be a potential weapon, potential bomb. Can you walk us through generally what a scenario would look like with these new devices?
Absolutely. So I can't talk about specifics of Ponderosa because it's still active investigation. It hasn't been filed officially charges yet, so I don't want to
please don't speak specifically to that. I just shared the public information about it.
Absolutely. So if we were to respond to, say, a school that has a device in there, we would set up, we would evacuate the school, evacuate the area. We would try to get confirmation on whether that device is real or not. And we would utilize a robot to drive into the school. We have an X-ray source on the robot, so we have the ability to take X-rays inside the school and do it remotely. We'd carry our panel in, our source, take an X-ray, and it would give us a live image immediately to our tablet that we have back at our truck. We can make a determination if we feel it's safe to approach on foot or put the bomb suit on and go in, or if we want to take a remote pan shot utilizing the robot, which is the tube off the front, which acts as a shotgun tube, but we utilize water shots. We put water in the tube, we would take a shot and disrupt the device to ensure that it doesn't actually activate or initiate. Such as like a Ponderosa call, a device was determined that it could be appropriately handled because it was actuated by some sort of ignition source, not a remote detonation by a cell phone or by triggering it by moving the package. So we felt it was safe enough to go ahead and remove the device from the school, take it to a secondary location, and either dispose of it later or take it apart to determine its functionality.
Well, that's incredible. Again, that statutory charge of the health, safety, and welfare of 400,000 people, that is squarely represented here. And when there is an exigent situation that could be threatening to a significant group of people, having a device like this is a big deal. And I'll reference again, I mean, Commissioner Van Winkle mentioned it, but it was great. I mean, we met with the number 3 at Homeland Security, have a great relationship there, and their commitment to keeping Douglas County safe is really strategic and important to us as well. So thank you for all you're doing with this. With that, I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment. Any citizen comment with regard to both item 4A and 4B? Yes, ma'am. And if you want to just state your name and where you're from, please.
My name is Angela Thomas, and I reside here in Castle Rock. Recently, we've seen misleading and inflammatory claims made by a member. Oh, excuse me, let me get to the top. I recognize the importance of emergency preparedness and interagency coordination. However, given the high cost and the importance of public trust in how such resources are secured and deployed, I'd like to ask, what oversight mechanisms are in place to ensure that the information presented, including statements about threats, regional deployment capabilities, and interagency collaboration, are accurate, responsibly stated, and free of exaggeration or misrepresentation? Recently, we've seen misleading and inflammatory claims made by a member of this body, specifically false allegations about a local resident, Dr. Aiko Browning. These statements were published and amplified publicly, and to date
And
have
ma'am,
not
I'm
been
going to ask that you confine your comments to the agenda items, please.
This is regarding safety in our community. These statements were published and amplified publicly, and to date have not been retracted or corrected. Given that, how can we, the public, be confident that resources like this bomb squad vehicle or any future public safety investment are being pursued and justified in a way that prioritizes truth, integrity, and the safety of all Douglas County residents? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional comments? Yes, ma'am.
I know, Angela, it must seem kind of daunting to look at some of these robotic things, and they look like toys sometimes that we build robotics and then into kinetics in our machines. And I know our forward technology is saving lives, just not in medical, but also our terrorist threats. And some of us are unaware of how small the world is to some of us. I know right now, as I know that I love my country, and I love my brother, and I love my sister. I love humanity, and I'd stand at the front line, and I do. And so when I look at these machines, I think they're essential as we go forward in our communities, and it seems safe here in Douglas County, green grass, blue rivers, and fresh water, I guess. But the real thing I want to point out, not only the comment made earlier about the preparation, why we're preparing for a future and how we can trust in something that may not always appear to be legitimate or as executed or excellent as we would prefer. I know these 5 men, and the girl recording, Haley, a good woman, are preparing for a future for Douglas County that is uncertain, with flash floods and fires, mitigating fires and protecting the small amount of water that Colorado shares with 8 other states. And it's not always clean. We're recreating it, pooping in it, fentanyl in it, everything else you want to think in it. We only have 2 water plants. They've added wastewater at Plum Creek and Sedalia, and how beautiful they can execute. They're building the stadium out east of 87, or west of 87, or 85, sorry. So as I look at our future, and I feel young, again, so young, and the world looks beautiful to me, and maybe because of our excellence, in the air and on the land, and men like this who value the protection of our community. I'll tell you, on May 2nd, in flash floods, I had one in my home. They broke the water. Right as I was putting it on the market, I lost $150,000 market value and have to replace floors and drywall. And it's so daunting as I pay rent somewhere else. I was moving out of state. It's pushed me to my my specialty, which is economics. So my last thing is, I went without water for 50 days. And thank God for community pools and people that prepare, and it's fresh water, but it pushed me to a physical limit, a dehydration, and a sorrow, but also a hope, as I know I overcame that challenge, but floods are real, and I pray for the families that lost their daughters and sons and fathers and mothers and grandmothers, and such organized community of excellence in
and
Texas.
Ma'am, your time
Thank
has
you.
expired. If you could, thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. Additional citizen comment. Any other citizen comment in the room or online?
Commissioner, I do have an online comment.
Okay.
Just a moment while I'm getting him unmuted. It'd be Iko Browning. You're unmuted, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Aiko Browning, and I'm a Douglas County citizen, constituent, taxpayer, homeowner, and parent of 2 kids in Douglas County schools. I care deeply about our community. Today, we're discussing a $60,000 contribution for a bomb squad response vehicle. The total cost of the bomb squad response vehicle is $550,000. This is more than a usual vehicle. With this cost, I thought it would be an armored vehicle, but it appears to be that fancy robot. It appears to be a good investment to keep our law enforcement officers safe as they face violent threats. I would like to know, what is the estimated cost of the Braun Northwest bomb truck? In addition, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I call on the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners to make a cost-effective investment in prevention of domestic violent extremism. The Colorado Information Analysis Center describes conspiracy theory violent extremists as domestic violent extremists who engage in threats or acts of violence against people, businesses, or government entities in support of their belief in an unfounded claim, typically at odds with prevailing explanations of the events. This board today has the opportunity to engage in primordial and primary prevention to protect against targeted violence at $0 additional cost to Douglas County taxpayers. Commissioner Teal, I call on you to withdraw your claims that there was foreign influence in the June 2024 election, or June 24, 2025. Commissioner Layden and Commissioner Van Winkle, I call on you to denounce Commissioner Teal's statements, to censure him, and to strip him of his committee assignments. Silence is complicit. Falsely labeling a perceived political opponent as an enemy of the state is not conducive to civil discourse. From the Department of Homeland Security, the Center for Prevention Programs and Partnerships works to create a culture of prevention for targeted violence and terrorism in the United States, similar to what we see for other types of violence prevention, so that individuals know that targeted violence is preventable and understand the role they play in prevention. The Center for Prevention Programs and Partnerships approach to targeted violence and terrorism prevention is based on time-tested principles of public health that focus on the safety and well-being of entire populations. The Center for Prevention Programs and Partnerships prevention activities seek to improve the conditions in which people grow, live, work, and age that shape health outcomes. For targeted violence and terrorism prevention and the Center for Prevention Programs and Partnerships, this means addressing the social determinants that can decrease the likelihood of individuals engaging in targeted violence and terrorism on 4 prevention levels categorized as primordial, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primordial level of prevention includes advocating to prevent the development of risk
And
factors.
ma'am, your time has expired. If you could wrap up, please.
Yes, so please engage in primordial and primary prevention of domestic violent extremism. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Additional citizen comment.
Commissioner, I have no additional online comment.
Okay. Guys, we need to be able to hear. Troy, you want to say that one more time? Troy, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Certainly. But thank you, Commissioner. I have no additional online comment.
Okay. I'm going to open it up for any other citizen comment on this item. Any other citizen comment? Okay, with that, I'm going to close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or motions on both item 4A and 4B.
If it pleases the board, I do have a motion to approve an acceptance of equipment awarded by the Department of Homeland Security, North Central Region, Urban Area Security Initiative, EOD Response Vehicle, Bomb Truck, matching funds required in the amount of $60,000.
I second that motion.
Okay, so we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries unanimously. Is there an additional motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to approve an acceptance of equipment awarded by the Department of Homeland Security, North Central Region, Urban Area Security Initiative, the Andros Spartan Vehicle Assembly, the robot there, in the amount of $365,476.
I will second.
Okay, so we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries unanimously as well. With that, we're going to move on to item 4C in our regular agenda, which is a purchase order and application to the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association for a total purse of $167,125 for the 2025 Douglas County Rodeo. We have Zach Burns, Fairgrounds Manager, presenting for staff. Zach? Yes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You know, we're going to pause on you guys for a moment. We have our communications department asking for a photo with the robot. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Undersheriff, do you want to join us? We have an amazing undersheriff, deeply committed to public safety. You gotta have this here. It's okay. It's very popular. First robot to receive a round. I mean, that's pretty great. Okay. Zach, my apologies. Again, Professional Rodeo Association.
Thank you. Proud to be here with some members of our fair board today to talk about one of the most exciting milestones we've reached, our growing rodeo purse and what that represents for the future of our event. We're going to start with just a short video.
Gotta get ready. Gotta get ready here. Gotta practice the wave. Okay. No, really. This one. Ride! Cowboy. Gotta get ready for the mutton busting. I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it? Douglas County Fair and Rodeo is really something special. Few do it quite as well as we do.
We're winning awards, bigger and better every year.
It's hard to put into words how proud I am. I get emotional every year.
We have won a couple of very prestigious awards within the circuit, Best Ground and Best Large Rodeo. And in 2023, we won the Rodeo Award. If you're a cowboy, you know that we've got good stock. Luck of the draw really isn't luck of the draw. They'll all be good draws.
I think there are several factors that make the fair and rodeo here in Douglas County so special.
We've got all kinds of animals for the kids to see. We've got cowboys and cowgirls.
And what really gives me a great sense of pride is seeing the families, the smiles, hearing the laughter.
When I look around, I see people that are just really enjoying themselves.
All coming together to experience the Western heritage and agricultural underpinnings that are Douglas County.
We show, we practice all year. We learn at fair what we can do better for the next year.
It's such a community event, and that's why we're here.
This year's Fair and Rodeo runs from July 25th to August 3rd, and tickets are on sale now. Once again, we have the Farm to Table Brunch. For the concert this year, well, this one's for the home team. We got country western superstar Dustin Lynch. These seats won't be empty for long.
Be part of the fun. Be part of your community. Let's rodeo.
Outstanding. Welcome. It's about that time of year.
We're almost there. So we've been making very big strides at the fairgrounds. The growth of our pro rodeo is just one of those. We're adding shade structures, creating new premium seating opportunities, and have worked to improve the aesthetics and functionality of nearly every corner of the fairgrounds over the past 2 years. Not all these improvements require a major financial investment, although some certainly do. More than anything, it's a mindset and a commitment to continual improvement and an understanding of how small, thoughtful changes can compound over time into real transformation. The two gentlemen here with me today embody that mindset and the work and leadership it takes to bring it to life. I'm incredibly proud of the partnership the fairground staff has built with the Fair Board and continue to build. Very little of the progress we've made in the past few years would have been possible without this collaboration. So please welcome Dean Elliott, Chair of the Fair Board, and John Adams, Chair of the Rodeo Committee.
Good afternoon from the award-winning Douglas County Fair and Rodeo. My name is John Adams, and thank you for inviting me. I'm a director with on the Douglas County Fair Board and chairman of the Rodeo Committee. The Rodeo Committee, the Fair Board, and I would like to share our enthusiasm for this milestone. And when I say share our enthusiasm, we can't show our enthusiasm in this room as much as we've already have. We've jumped high, we've yelled, we've screamed, we've had a toast. So thank you for approving the largest rodeo purse we have had to date. With your help, our purse has increased from $136,000 to $191,000 in 1 year. I would like to take a few minutes to discuss how the additional funds allocated to the purse have and will translate into success for our rodeo. We are sanctioned by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, the PRCA. I have a lot of acronyms, so I'm going to go through those. And the Women's Professional Rodeo Association, the WPRA, both of them based out of Colorado Springs. The country is divided into circuits, and we are in the Mountain State Circuit, which encompasses Colorado and Wyoming. And last year, the contestants of the Mountain State Circuit voted us as the large rodeo of the year. And we beat out Denver, Greeley, Cheyenne, Cody, Casper, and Sheridan. Some pretty tough competition. They also awarded us the best ground, which does not happen without a tremendous amount of effort and commitment from the fairgrounds staff. Our stock contractor has steadily improved the quality of stock to go along with our increased added money. J.D. Hamaker, the general manager of Summit Pro Rodeo, has been a key team player on this group, with his group, trying to get the rodeo bigger and better. And on the livestock end, Summit, along with a subcontractor, Vold Pro Rodeo, supplied 85 horses and bulls for the circuit finals up in Loveland, about 2/3 of the stock last year. Our Super Bowl of Rodeo is the National Finals Rodeo, also known as the NFR. It's held in Las Vegas every December, and that is where the top 15 contestants from each event compete for world championships. Our stock contractor and subcontractors had 14 horses and bulls selected to go to the NFR in Las Vegas. So quite an accomplishment. In 2023, we were excited to win the Remuda Award for the committee having the most consistent and even pen of bucking horses. You can see the beautiful bronze in the event center, and you can see the Polaris Ranger running around during the fair and rodeo. Having a great stock contractor made the opportunity for us to receive this award. Summit Pro Rodeo has won the Contractor Remuda Award in the last few years. And then another rodeo that they have, Gooding, Idaho, has also won the Remuda Award. So we've got a powerful, powerful team member on our team. Let's see. I'd also like to give a shout out to the people on our committee, the powerhouse people on our committee. We have people from our committee, the rodeo committee, that are involved on a national level. Deb Dilley, who's a director with Miss Rodeo America and also inducted into their Hall of Fame. We have Lauren Heaton, former Miss Rodeo America. Debbie Mills, who helps with the Miss Rodeo America pageant in Las Vegas and runs contestant hospitality at the NFR in Las Vegas. She runs our hospitality, among many other things, at our rodeo. Myself, I'm on the Board of Trustees for the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. I'm a director for the Mountain States Circuit, and at last year's NFR convention, I presented 2 sessions. Last year, in 2024, we increased our added money, and at the end of the rodeo season, our rodeo was ranked 43rd out of 650 rodeos nationally. In 2023, we were 55th, and in 2022, we were 59th. We keep improving every year. Due to our ranking, the PRCA has included us in the prestigious playoff series. The year-long schedule features the 60 highest-paying rodeos in the sport and culminate with playoff series in Puyallup, Washington, and the Governor's Cup in Sioux Falls. In 2024, our share of the television and streaming revenue from the PRCA and the Cowboy Channel was $15,500. This year it'll be $16,250, and the amount goes up based on our rankings. 30 through 60 right now gets just over $16,000. 21 through 35 gets $35,000. 13 through 20 gets $50,000. 6 through 12 gets $135,000. The top 1 through 5 rodeos get $150,000. Based on the rodeos completed so far this year, I predict that we'll be ranked 35th at the end of the season. We're one of the fastest growing rodeos in the country. And I have some hot off the press information from this year's rodeo, as entries closed last week. We've had huge interest in our rodeo. We have over 695 contestants entered, up from 650 last year. We actually had to turn away 100 rough stock contestants because we had reached our limit on our rodeo. Last year, we started holding 3 days of slack rather than 1 because the facility could not handle all of the contestants' horses and rigs at one time. So our contestants, we've got 151 contestants that have qualified for the NFR, and among them, they have 782 qualifications to the NFR. 32 world champions with a total of 78 world championship titles. We hold a youth rodeo camp on Saturday featuring that will be featuring 4 world champions, among others, as coaches for our local youth. And all of the rodeo champions from last year are entered this year. Last year, contestants broke most of our arena records, showing that the caliber of contestants is increasing. During my rodeo travels, I've spoke with many contestants, and they are very impressed with our rodeo. Last year, the rough stock contestants, the unanimous choice for one of the common comments was, you guys should win the Remuda Award again. I said, thank you, I appreciate it, but we can't win it for another 5 years, but I feel like we won it last year. Here's some interesting statistics I wanted to share with you. There will be over 1,000 animals there associated with the rodeo. 600 contestant horses and trucks and trailers, which are now about the size of a semi. Over 100 bucking horses, subcontractor horses that have to leave because we don't have enough room for them. 50 bulls, they stay at an off-site facility because we don't have room, 150 timed event cattle, and all that livestock has a value of approximately $30 million. 150 people involved in production, between summit personnel, JD, the announcers, flank band, timers, secretary, bullfighters, pickup men, clowns, sorting crew, subcontractors, judges. On the fair board end, we've got directors, associates, volunteers, and the county staff. On another exciting note, we have 4 new corporate sponsors have joined us because of our ranking in the Pro Rodeo Tour, for a total of $25,000 in sponsorships: Ag Truck Trader, Silencer Central, Tito's Vodka, True Veterans, and then Pendleton has increased their sponsorship this year from last year. This year, all 4 performances will be live on the Cowboy Channel, or on the Cowgirl Channel, the sister network to the Cowboy Channel. In the past, we were on delay. We're also on the streaming platform, the Cowboy Plus app, where we will be live on the app, and then our rodeos can be viewed on demand year-round. In addition, yesterday we just found out that the Equine Network will be covering our Slack performances. Ticket sales. This year, our tickets are selling the fastest they have been in history. We've been tracking about 1 month ahead of the previous years, and this will be our 6th year selling out. I can't stress enough the importance of a new and larger facility to be able to maintain growth. The entire team is excited to offer contestants the largest purse in our history and put on the award-winning Douglas County Fair and Rodeo. Dean?
Thank you, John. Welcome, Dean.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners, for the opportunity. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Fair Board. John talked about what it means for the rodeo, but what we see is people that attend the rodeo attend all the rest of the fair, the carnival, and the other events. And those are equally important and family-focused events. And so what you're doing to help improve our rodeo through the purse makes a considerable difference in the number of people who attend the rodeo and get to experience what we have as our mission, to make the Douglas County Fair and Rodeo the premier event in Douglas County. And we're working diligently every year to do that. We do that because of the support that we've had and continue to have from the commissioners and from the 3 of you specifically in the near future here. As I mentioned, our mission is to really make Douglas County Fair and Rodeo that premier event. We've got a number, our entries for our 4-H kids are also up this year, which is great. And as you saw from the video, and we tend to get a little emotional with this passion that we have for making this thing happen, but we do it for the youth and for our community. And so it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that. Thank you again for your contribution and your consideration for the rodeo, because it makes a difference in the entire event, not just in the rodeo. So thank you all very much. I think just a quick plug, if I could, the rodeo starts on the 25th. The Fair and Rodeo starts on July 25th and finishes on August 3rd. It's a 10-day event, and our first part of the weekend has a number of special events, our hometown rodeo as well as our farm to table, and it culminates with the 4 PRCA performances that John talked about. So thank you all again on behalf of the Fair Board, and we appreciate your continued support.
Great. Thank you so much, Dean. Zach, anything additional? Nothing from me. Okay. Well, I know our entire board has a few comments for you, but I know it begins with a huge debt of thanks. Few people recognize how much leadership, energy, and effort you, Dean, John, the entire Fair Board, Fair Foundation, and staff put into the county fair every year. It is an absolute magnificent thing to witness how you guys work so well together and you elevate the role of our county fair. I have a very specific memory several years ago of John Adams with Commissioner Teal and myself really near that bullpen right before a rodeo, and you educating us on the value of that purse and what it means to have a significant rodeo. And we talked to Tom Glaus and the PRCA, and it was this continued vision of, through investment in that purse, we will bring the athletes, and if the premier athletes come, the people come. The people that pay attention show up. And we weren't sure, but we did consider that, walk through the numbers very carefully, and we entrusted you with that decision to elevate that purse, and the return on investment was incredible. So I don't want to get ahead of today's vote. I want citizen comment on it, but you know, again, it seems as though the vision that you cast many years ago is coming to fruition, and I couldn't be more honored to support you. So thank you for that. Commissioners?
Well, first of all, fellas, thanks so much for your leadership on this one. Again, you're out in the community, you're talking about it. You've obviously, as my colleague mentioned, you've made it your mission to elevate it here before the county commissioners. Thank you for taking on my challenge of let's beat the Greeley Independent Stampede. Sounds like we are well on our way, and I look forward to us keep working together over the next few years, make things bigger and better for the Douglas County Fair and Rodeo.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal. Commissioner Ben Winkle.
I'll just echo the sentiments of thanks and gratitude to the planning and the year-long planning that goes into it. It is, of course, a fair and rodeo that is award-winning, both here in the state of Colorado and nationally recognized as well. But for the people of Douglas County, it truly is just a real fun time. And I know our ticket sales are off the charts, so if you haven't bought your tickets yet, make sure you get onto the website and get those tickets, because there's not much. There are few activities that are more fun for a family than to get out to the fair and rodeo and spend some time there. Really, any day during the fair and rodeo at the end of the month here. So, thank you to the three of you, and please convey your thanks to the entire board that has put in so much work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great job, gentlemen. Let me open it up for any citizen comment. I know we're about 15 minutes past due for our next meeting, but I do want to open it up for any citizen comment. Any citizen comment on this item? Yes, ma'am. If you want to just state your name and where you're from, please.
Hi, my name is Kim Carroll, and I live in Parker. I am opposed to taxpayer money being given to the rodeo winners. I believe that rodeos are animal cruelty. The cowboys might be having a great time, but the animals are being tortured for no reason other than the audience pleasure. Every year there are animal deaths at rodeos. Cruelty, whether in the form of animal cruelty or the cruel lies of Commissioner Teal about Dr. Aiko Browning, should not be tolerated and should have consequences. Rodeo participants should not be rewarded for animal cruelty, and Commissioner Teal should have consequences for his vicious lies. He should publicly apologize, retract his statement publicly, and be removed from his public commissions. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Additional citizen comment. Yes, sir.
Hi, Len Wetton from Highlands Ranch. I didn't know much about rodeos, so I looked at the Pro Rodeo site where they posted their values, and there were two statements that I really resonated with me. One was, we are honest and respectful in all our endeavors. The second one was, we are committed to accountability, productivity, and accuracy. I just wish our local government shared these values and wouldn't make scurrilous claims about people that disagree with their actions. I wish commissioners would take accountability and apologize for falsely accusing citizens of being communist. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any additional citizen comment? Yes, sir. If you want to just state your name and where you're from.
Yeah, I'm Bob Marshall from Highlands Ranch, and to echo those sentiments, I had looked up real quick the National Day of the Cowboy Code of Conduct for cowboys and cowgirls, and I assume one of the reasons Douglas County is willing to put taxpayer money behind something like this is because of the values supposedly brought forward by these gentlemen. And those 10 points are: live each day with honesty and courage. Take pride in your work, always do your best. Stay curious, study hard, and learn all you can. Do what has to be done and finish what you start. Be tough but fair. When you make a promise, keep it. Be clean in thought, word, deed, and dress. Practice tolerance and understanding of others. Be willing to stand up for what's right. And be an excellent steward of the land and its animals. I assume you want the county to accept these type of principles. It might be good if the board did too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. If you want to just state your name and where you're from, please.
Gentlemen, commissioners, my name is Gary Wood. As a doctor, having provided rodeo sports medicine for over 30 years, 15 I dedicated at our local rodeo right here in Douglas County. I want to assure everybody in this audience, and you as well, that there are more cowboys and cowgirls hurt in a single rodeo than all the rodeos across the country. Those animals are well cared for, well fed, well maintained, and well loved. They are not intentionally harmed. Any sports hazard risk. And I want to thank you for supporting this rodeo. It is a wonderful event. Rodeo athletes are the best athletes I've ever worked with, and that goes from high school to pro football. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any additional citizen comment?
Hi, my name is
welcome.
Kathy Lees. I live in Highlands Ranch. I want to say congratulations to the Professional Rodeo Association and the Douglas County Fairgrounds for this recent award. And it's remarkable how diverse our county is. I've never been to a rodeo. And what made me think is that not all citizens can use the fairgrounds. We talked about security, but the sheriff can't guarantee a safe pride event for our community, for our children. And it just really breaks my heart. And it frustrates me because the fiscal irresponsibility, I pay taxes for the fairground, yet my community can't use it. And that's very frustrating to me. Commissioner Layden, you and I stood on the grounds 3 to 4 years ago welcoming kids to gay prom. And this commission can no longer make it safe. I am holding Commissioner Layden and Commissioner Van Winkle to hold this commission to keep its citizens safe. I've spoken with ACO. She is worried about her family because of the false claims and has asked for additional security to make sure her family's not harmed. Just recently, we had legislators murdered in Minnesota because of what people are saying. And yet, there is no accountability by Commissioner Teal for his false claims. And I find it abhorrent. I would like you all to take accountability that is on your little shield. Take accountability for your actions. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Additional citizen comment.
I'm a city girl, and I'm actually moving to Kansas, and I was fascinated to see riding a bull. I didn't know you could ride bulls. I mean, I've seen it on remotely when I was a teenager, but to see this up front, and how incredible, what athletes. And good-looking men, too. I say the Stetson men, and it's just not about good-looking. It's physicality, it's health, it's part of a community, part of a vision, conquering of not their own training with their animals. It's a beautiful connection, I think, of nature and humanity. So Echo Browning, I don't echo your always coming here with your T-shirts and if you're online still. I resist the fact that your small little community can't accept some of the larger global challenges that face our nation, and that we do stand in front, and that a lot of us paid a heavy price during COVID, more than you know. Some of loss of family, some of loss of life, and mostly the connection between humanity was disconnected. I served the men on the streets, and I thought I had the 4 years, even raising my kids, the last 4 years were the most authentic, push me to the limit of my own humanity, reflect on my own self, and what I was willing to give to others in a situation of massive crisis. I stood on Colfax near Spears Street, and a dying man, alcoholic, in a winter between McDonald's and a gas station. And I'll tell you, there was a lot of people frequenting both of those, McDonald's and gas station. And I watched just not too long, but enough to know that that man was dying. And no one noticed him. And I called 911, and they were so human to this man. Another man, I was going on vacation in 2020 up to Winter Park, and I was with my daughter at I was at my daughter. It was the beginning of COVID, June, and we were on Parker Road at a Chinese, whatever that is, a fast food. I can't remember it. And so a guy was laying on the grass, and he said, "Can you call 911?" And I called 911, and we gave him water, and he had his dog with us. And then the EMTs showed up, and it was just 2 months before all this COVID right in our face, and they wouldn't serve the man, and they wouldn't let him take. The firefighters wouldn't, but the EMT said, "Bring your dog. I'll take your dog with me." And we lifted the man. I lifted it and looked into my eyes because I had the most connection with him. And as we were putting the gurney in the ambulance, he looked at me. He said, "Am I dying?" He had kidney failure. He was an alcoholic, probably. And I said, "Yes, you are dying, but your dog will go with you to the hospital because this man is human enough to know that's your only family."
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional citizen comment? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Adelita Campbell. I live in Highlands Ranch. Been here for 18 years. Had no idea the rodeo was as big as it's become. I've been to many in Wyoming, and it's kind of exciting to hear that you guys are winning awards. I do want to say that Commissioner Teal falsely linked Asian American oncologist Dr. Aiko Browning to the Chinese Communist Party. Not only is that racist, xenophobic, baseless, but it's also extremely harmful. And this board, especially Commissioner Teal, owes her an apology.
Thank you, ma'am. Additional citizen comment? Yes, sir.
Commissioner, my name is Kevin Leung from Castle Pine. Wonderful, wonderful job you guys are doing. And I just don't know, you know that there's a Chinese Americans called Bill Wong. He won rodeo in Texas. And would love one of these days that more and more participants will come over here from all walk of life and to join, this wonderful venture. Douglas County is my home for more than 30 years. And diverse list of constituents is very important to maintain this as a wonderful place to live. So it's a shock to me that while we're honoring the rodeo, but we have a commissioner in here that is blatantly spitting lie against the Chinese Americans. And you talk about security, which is very important for this county. And the sort of ignorant comment
and sir,
from a political leader.
I appreciate your comments,
what,
but I'm really going to
us
ask that
into
you,
the Chinese
out of respect
Act,
to
then,
the people
the
that are here,
Chinese
sir, I'm going to
massacre
ask,
in the
sir,
19th
I'm going to ask
century.
for order,
Thank
sir,
you, Commissioner,
please.
and I appreciate that. Again, thank you so much for you guys. Well, have a good day, sir.
I'm going to say, listen, we want to respect the folks that are here on an application before us from the rodeo. They've worked really hard all year to be here. I will open it up for citizen comment. If the members of the Douglas County Democrats, who meaning I see here, would like to speak, we will open it up to you all and everyone else that is here for a few minutes. But out of respect to these gentlemen that have worked very hard, I want to restrain the comments to the application today. So again, I'll ask for any additional citizen comment about the specific issue on the agenda today. Any additional citizen comment? Okay, any citizen comment online with regard to this item?
Thank you, Commissioner Layden. I have no additional online comment.
Okay, thank you, Troy. So with that, I'm going to close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion with regard to this item.
Well, recognizing the importance of the fair and rodeo to our community, obviously, as demonstrated, and preserving our Western traditions, I do have a motion to approve a purchase order and application to the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association for a total purse of $167,125 for the 2025 Douglas County Rodeo.
Oh, thank you, and I will second that motion. This is one of the great events that links the history of Douglas County to the current and to the future of Douglas County. So it's just a great event, and happy to second that motion.
Okay, so we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries unanimously. Our final item on our regular agenda is item 4D, a construction contract with JHL. Thank you, gentlemen. Good job. Great job, guys. Looking forward to the fair. It is a construction contract with JHL Constructors, LLC for the County Line Road Broadway to University Improvement Project in the amount of $28,602,670.17. Douglas County Project number CI 2020-013. Benjamin Pierce from the Capital Improvements presenting for staff. Hi, Benjamin.
Well, good afternoon, Commissioners. And it's with great pride today that I'm here to talk to you about the County Line Road project. One of the first projects that I was assigned to work on when I started at Douglas County a little over 5 years ago. And, I've been here multiple times talking about the different, construction and consultant the different consultant contracts and, various things. And so I'm very, very proud to be taking this one to construction and actually moving some dirt out there here soon. So as a refresher, the County Line Road project is from University Boulevard to Broadway on the county line separating Douglas County and Arapahoe County. And the main goal of the project is to widen the road from 2 lanes to 4 lanes and also include some additional safety and operational improvements. One item that's included in the project is a new signal, traffic signal at Clarkson Street. And then we'll be replacing the span wire signal that's at the Target entrance just east of the Clarkson signal with a permanent mast arm signal, which is easier to maintain and has a longer useful life. Along with the project, for those of you who have been around for a long time, and the profile of County Line Road used to have a lot more hills and valleys in it, and this is the last one, along County Line Road that we'll be filling in at Lee Gulch. And as I've been discussing with residents in both Douglas County and Centennial, a lot of folks have expressed appreciation for flattening the roadway and bringing that up, and then also taking care of our stormwater as a result. So to speak to a little bit about our bid process, the project bid documents were advertised publicly on Rocky Mountain BidNet on March 31st, 2025, and 9 bids were received and opened on May 6th, 2025. And so you can see here the list of contractors who bid on the project, ranging from $28.6 million all the way up to $40 million. And we did come in about a little less than $3 million under our engineer's estimate of $31.4 million. And you can see at the top there is JHL Constructors, who were recommending award of the project to. So for the bid selection, staff is recommending award of the construction contract to JHL Constructors, LLC, because they are the apparent low bidder, for one thing. They are in good standing with the Secretary of State and are CDOT pre-qualified. And they have a successful history working on both vertical and horizontal infrastructure projects for CDOT, Douglas County, and other local agencies. I believe in talking with JHL, they said about 80% of their total work is done in Douglas County, and I think most of that comes from the vertical side of their company. And a little bit about the schedule of this project. Douglas County staff and consultant construction management team, Benish, will be immediately working on pre-construction activities once the contract is fully executed. So there's a lot of work to do out there in terms of there's a few utilities to be relocated and some other coordination efforts with our project partners of Centennial and Littleton to work through before we can really start moving dirt. And as part of the contract, JHL will begin full construction operations on their NTP date of September 2nd, 2025, but there will be a lot of work happening between now and then to get everything set for this project. I wanted to also talk to a full closure of County Line Road. There was a previous resolution, I believe about 6 months ago or so, that was before the board. But County Line Road will need to be closed for up to 100 days while the embankment construction is being performed. So in that dip where Lee Gulch is, in order to add about 18 feet of fill, we need to be able to close the road entirely so that they can quickly and efficiently get that dirt in place, add the storm sewer, and then also a water line relocation for Denver Water that's required. Additionally, there will be 3 72-hour closures of County Line Road for installation of critical storm sewer crossings. We're aiming to make those 24 to 48 hours, but sometimes things always don't go according to plan, and so we added a little bit of buffer time in there. So those will mostly be, try to be done over nights and weekends. And the project duration is set at 730 days, so with an NTP of September 2nd, 2025. The project will be complete on September 2nd, 2027, so a full 2 years to construct this project. And a little bit about the funding for this project. We'll be using an incremental encumbrance contract, so the initial purchase order will be for $15 million of the $28 million. With the remaining $13.6 million approximately encumbered no later than April 15th of 2026. This is similar to what we did on the US 85 project, and what it allows the county to do is to approve the full contract up front, but only encumber a certain amount to get the contractor through a portion of the project, and then additional funds can be added to finish out the project. So here is a breakdown of the total construction costs for the project. So we do have a design services during construction contract with the designer, Felsberg Holden Uleveg, FHU, for $174,000. Construction management and material testing is with Benish, and they will be really our boots on the ground day to day, overseeing all of the inspections, under the direction of Douglas County Capital Improvements. And then the construction contract with JHL for $28,602,670.17. And as I mentioned up top, this is a multi-jurisdictional project with multiple different funding sources. So our federal funding that we got through DRCOG, and then also additional waitlist funds had been added for a total of $12,582,000 of federal funding for the project. And Douglas County will be contributing approximately $12,895,068.20. And then the city of Centennial, in addition to their contributions of securing additional funding through DRCOG through the waitlist process, they will be contributing an additional about $4.5 million in cost to the project. And City of Littleton is also a project partner, and they're putting in $2 million to the project. The basically west of the Phillips Road is their jurisdiction, and so they've been involved in the project as well. So that gets us to a total construction cost of $31,976,810.17. And I would like to note to this, the project contributions and the total construction costs, this is what the contracted values are for, but we hope to come in under budget as we work through different problems and everything. There is some contingency funds built into the construction contract. So at the end of the project, any rectification to the funding amounts to City of Centennial will also be brought back to them. And so it is my pleasure to introduce Maisie Wingerter. She's in our public involvement group, and we are very lucky in Public Works to have such great partnership with our public information team. So I'm going to have Maisie speak a little bit about that.
Thank you. Hello, Commissioners. As Ben said, Maisie Wingerter, Senior Communication Manager for the county here. Given the location of this project with its high visibility and high trafficked area, and the fact that it borders on many other municipal partners' land, we want to make sure that we do a thorough and intentional job managing the public engagement for this project, really basing it off of the success we've had on US 85 with similar impacts to the community. So our goal is to lead with the benefits of the project, focusing on those safety improvements and reducing traffic by increasing the lanes on County Line, but also leading with transparency and making sure that the public knows what to expect, how to plan for closures, and plan their day around this construction. So we will be informing the public, managing expectations, responding to stakeholders, highlighting the milestones, benefits, and of course, supporting crisis communication. Like we've done on the US 85 project, we will work very closely with these stakeholders, our local PIOs for these different organizations around the area. There are cyclists, there are motorists, there are buses, RTD, all kinds of folks who will be impacted by this project, as well as folks just driving through the area to get to different spots around our county. So we will find ways to reach each specific audience. We will have a person, boots on the ground, on the project site, handling all of the hotline calls, emails, weekly updates, And we are very excited. We'll have a groundbreaking event at the start of the project. And prior to that 100-day full closure, we ensure that we will have an open house to help the community plan for the impacts of that full closure. Here, the county will lead the media relations and make sure that everyone has all the materials they need to get around the project. And this just breaks down our communications team for the project. JHL will provide their own public information manager, like I said, that will be on the ground, interacting with the contractor so they understand what's coming to help message those impacts to the community. They'll draft most of our communication tactics for us. We've contracted with CIG to kind of be the middleman in between our leadership at the county and that boots on the ground person. CIG is highly capable and does a lot of work with the county in collaborating with that PIM, making sure we get the information we need but aren't integrated with all of the details. And then here at the county, we'll make sure we connect with local elected officials, approve all messaging developed by the team, and handling all those media inquiries.
Thank you, Maisie. And with that, the staff recommendation is award of a construction contract to JHL Constructors, LLC for the County Line Road University to Broadway project. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commissioners may have.
Wonderful. Great presentation. Any questions for staff?
I know a lot about this one, so no questions.
Okay, Commissioner?
Yeah, no questions from me. Just thank you for your hard work. Thank you for the staff and also our public relations team for all the heavy lifting that is about to be undertaken. It's been a pleasure seeing this project kind of come to fruition here and get to the point where we actually are moving dirt over the last 6-7 months as a commissioner and on the DRCOG board. But really, the credit for this goes to those who came before me and did all the hard work for many years to secure the funding outside of Douglas County that will be going to this project. So my tremendous thanks to you, Commissioner Teal, for your hard work for quite many, several years on the DRCOG board, and also for your leadership, Commissioner Layden.
Well, thank you for that, Commissioner. And, you know, nearly half of our, I guess it's about $730 million budget, goes to transportation. And that is a really important role. Our citizens have indicated that mobility is crucial. And as we see new growth and development here, mobility and the ability to get around is paramount to us maintaining that quality of life. So really honored to hear this application. Let me open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment with regard to this item on the agenda? Any citizen comment? Okay, going online, Troy, any citizen comment?
No, sir, I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve the construction contract with JHL Constructors, LLC for the County Line Road Broadway to University Improvement Project in the amount of $28,602,670.17. It's the Douglas County Project CI 2020-013.
So Kevin, earlier we were talking about what local agencies had been involved in this project. And Ben, I wonder if you could take us back to the partners, the funding partners, the City of Littleton and City of Centennial. I know those might look like really small contribution amounts, but we really do need to call out the City of Littleton as a big thank you for this one. Not so much because of their very generous support, at least on this section, but mostly they're the ones that brought the deal forward. Because when you talk about the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Plan in DRCOG, that that we're benefiting from here, the county's share of the sub-regional pot was only about $18 million. And so the question would be, how in the world can we afford to put $12 million of $18 million on this one project here in the county? The nice part is that most of that actually, it wasn't just the Douglas County regional share. It's because the City of Littleton came in and offered to make this a joint operation between, the City of Littleton, but also Arapahoe County. And so actually the majority of that share of federal funding actually comes from the Arapahoe County sub-regional pot. that we really got to give thanks to our friends in Littleton for bringing that in so that this portion of the County Line Road project could be subject to that funding. And we can see it actually does go substantially far. So in thanks to our friends at Littleton, and as Ben pointed out, thanks to the waiting list coming through for Centennial as well, I would be happy to second this motion.
Okay, thank you for that, Commissioner. So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries unanimously. So with that, we are about 45 minutes overdue, but I do want to leave time for citizen comment, certainly for folks who've taken time to be here with us today. At this time, you are welcome to comment about any topic other than those that appeared on today's agenda, which you have already had an opportunity to comment on. This is an opportunity to share your thoughts and ideas with us. If you would state your name and where you reside prior to making comments, you will have up to 3 minutes. Any disruptive behaviors, such as impeding officials, refusing to leave when asked, or attempting to disrupt the meeting may result in criminal charges. Commissioner comments, if any, will follow all citizen comments. Excuse me. Citizen comment. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Layden. Tricia Calabrese, Highlands Ranch. Not only am I proud to be part of this community because of Dr. Browning's civic leadership, but after losing my parents to cancer 13 days apart, I have a profound respect for the work she does as a cancer physician. She serves with skill, integrity, and dignity. She does her job with care and professionalism every day. We expect our elected officials to do their jobs in the same manner. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Additional citizen comment. Yes, sir.
My name's Gary Wood. I'm a Douglas County resident, and I want to thank you for the work that you've done in terms of proactively preventing water disasters in Douglas County. And to that end, I would recognize that prevention is the least expensive kind of proactive prevention. And so we are asking you to adopt a resolution forbidding the camping on open spaces in any level 4 or 5 fire dangerous areas that have already been designated. So it's important that you hear the voices of your community. And so at my own personal expense, I've printed and bound over 1,000 voices of your community. These are the people who may well have and have stated in this room that they voted against home rule because of your opposition to stopping camping at Sandstone. I'll present these to the county attorney.
You can approach the county attorney. Thank you, sir. Additional citizen comment. Yes, sir.
My name is Eric Brody, and I reside in Castle Pines. Commissioners, you engineered a rushed and costly home rule special election. You campaigned for home rule with false claims as to what it would accomplish. Your actual agenda and that of commercial and out-of-state interests that financed the campaign remains obscure. 2 weeks ago, the Douglas County community resoundingly rejected home rule. I call upon you to spare our community further expense and hardship. Abandon any intention to waste another $500,000 of our money on your scheme. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Additional citizen comment.
Hello again, Commissioners. My name is Angela Thomas. I reside here in Castle Rock. Dear Commissioner Teal, this letter by members of the Asian community and the greater Colorado public expresses our deep concern and outrage regarding your recent false and inflammatory remarks surrounding the outcome of Douglas County Ballot Question 1A. Ballot Question 1A was defeated in a free, fair, and democratic process, with 71.16% of Douglas County voters voting against the measure. To suggest without evidence that this outcome was the result of interference by the Chinese Communist Party is not only baseless but irresponsible. Let's not parse words. It's just also plain racist. We condemn these racially charged comments for it is provocative and dangerous. The Asian community of Colorado is outraged and troubled by your racially charged comments in which you falsely identified Dr. Aiko Browning, a Highlands Ranch resident and cancer physician, as Chinese. This statement is not only factually incorrect, but also insensitive, racially prejudiced, and completely unacceptable. Targeting an individual based on perceived ethnicity is discriminatory and undermines the values of respect, inclusion, and integrity that public servants are sworn to uphold. We call on you to, 1, publicly retract your false claims about foreign interference in ballot question 1A. 2, issue a formal apology to Dr. Browning and the broader Asian community for your offensive and racially charged comments. 3, commit to conducting yourself with the respect and responsibility expected of an elected official in your position moving forward. Douglas County deserves leaders who uphold truth, fairness, and unity, not divisiveness and misinformation. Your remarks have caused harm, and it is paramount upon you to take responsibility for these racially charged comments. This letter has been signed by over 1,300 people in Douglas County and the greater state of Colorado. May I please present this to the county attorney?
Yes, ma'am. Additional citizen comment.
Good afternoon, Douglas County Commissioners. My name is Craig Kim. While I'm not a resident of Douglas County, I serve as a city council member for Commerce City in Adams County, and I'm addressing you today in my personal capacity. I'm here today with a sense of urgency and concern regarding the troubling comments made by one of your commissioners during a podcast interview about the home rule opposition. I do understand some of that. During the podcast, a claim was made that the home rule opposition was funded by the Chinese Communist Party. This allegation is not only unfounded, but reveals a disturbing trend of stereotyping based on appearances. The individual leading the opposition is a U.S. citizen of Japanese descent, and it is unacceptable to assume guilt or connection based solely on someone's race or ethnicity. I myself am Korean descent, serving in the U.S. military for 22 years. Thank you for your service. And not a member of the two-party system that has dominated our political landscape for far too long. I'm an independent voice that encourages critical thinking, not division. It is crucial for elected officials to rise above party lines and personal biases when addressing the needs and concerns of the community they serve. I attended today's meeting after driving 45 minutes specifically to implore this commission to reject the impulse to make assumptions based on ethnicity, gender, or any other form of appearances. Such assumptions diminish respect, foster division, and detract from the important work this commission should be undertaking for its residents. It is regrettable that instead of focusing on constructive dialogue, the spotlight was turned on an assumption that only served to magnify the shortcomings of this commission rather than addressing the issue at hand. I was disheartened to listen to the dismissive attitude when confronted by Kyle Clark, who inquired about the evidence supporting these claims. The response given was, quote, "Is there evidence that isn't?" End quote. I get it. We all look alike. But it is also entirely inappropriate and fails to uphold the standards expected by public officials. I strongly urge this commission to take immediate action, issue a formal apology, and unequivocally denounce the remarks made by your commissioner. This behavior must not be tolerated, and it reflects poorly on the commitment to provide respect for all constituencies in your county, regardless of race, gender, or ethnicity. I sincerely hope my plea resonates with you and prompts necessary reflection and action. It is imperative that this commission and any public official, to include myself, leads by example and upholds the values of dignity, respect, and unity for all constituents. Thank you for your time and attention. You guys have a great rest of the day.
Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Dalton, Lone Tree. I have two topics today. The first of all, home rule And I'm going to choose to take a little different tact than what we've been hearing, although I agree with many of the comments made. The trouncing indeed was a total repudiation of home rule itself and our commissioners. Now, I have heard that you may try again and choose to present a charter to citizens before the vote. And in my opinion, this is what you should consider doing. The Charter Commission would be comprised of citizens only, not including commissioners or other elected officials. Here's the other one I've not heard before. The charter would include a separation of powers between the commissioners and the county attorney and manager. This could be accomplished if, for example, the county attorney becomes an elected position. Today, our BOCC has no oversight except for citizens. With elections years apart, we need separate ongoing regulations. Even Governor Polis has a legislature to keep his governance in line. With countywide participation, home rule could provide Douglas County a unique opportunity to craft a charter that would truly represent its citizens. Secondly, I wanted to just talk briefly about the Zebulon Pike project. I don't know much about it, and I think that's part of the problem. So I recall one town hall mentioned dedicated to this project months and months ago. But I'd like to know what will be the funding mechanism for this enormous project? How long will it take to turn a profit? What are the projected operating costs and revenue streams? I would like to see a business plan before our county is committed to a project with long-term debt and annual losses. And the last thing is I don't think it's really the role of county government to get involved in such a project. Have you considered finding a for-profit business to fund, build, and manage this project? And I look forward to your responses. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And we'll take, let's do 2 more citizen comments. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Kim Greer, Larkspur. You've seen me before. Wearing one of the Wildlander race shirts. We, Larkspur Fire Protection District, used to hold this race at Sandstone prior to becoming an open space. The race benefited the department and the National Wildland Firefighter Foundation. The Wildlander race is just one example of the many activities this precious open space can support besides camping. Just over a week ago, I came upon an abandoned, smoldering campfire in Pyatt National Forest. This is the second time in the last few years that I have found an abandoned fire. Yes, I extinguished both fires. However, this highlights a real danger when people camp. Not everyone follows the rules. There are so many other activities that can be supported by the open spaces in this county, like astronomy, geology, and nature hikes and talks. These activities encourage additional residents to enjoy the areas without safety concerns of camping. Even the recent county survey revealed that camping is not a very high priority for the majority of responding residents. I truly appreciate all that you commissioners have done to improve our safety in this county with respect to wildfire risk. The aerial wildland firefighting support we have in this county is truly game-changing. Instead of allocating limited county resources to study and implement camping on our open spaces, perhaps the funding could be utilized to further maintain and enhance these areas. Noxious weeds are still an issue and some of the trails are in disrepair. Further, as evidenced by your commitment to hill attack coverage for wildfire suppression, I know you are concerned about safety in the county. We all know that we had the 1965 flood 60 years ago, and we just had the devastating flood in Texas. One of the issues that has been identified is communication and the lack of being able to notify people. Some areas in the county, including some open spaces and areas like Perry Park, have limited cell coverage. This encumbers emergency response and notification of residents. Perhaps solutions to remedy this situation could also be considered when allocating funding. Enjoyment of our open spaces protected by conservation easements is possible without designated camping areas. I urge you to honor the original intent of the conservation easements to protect the land in perpetuity and reallocate the open space funds earmarked for the pilot camping program in our open spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll take one more citizen comment. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Kristen Hayek. I live in Highlands Ranch. I was sitting over here inspired by these words up here that say, government of the people, by the people, for the people. And I'm your people. Dr. Aiko Browning is your people. And I'm not here as a Democrat or a woman or a white person. I'm just here as a human being, a constituent who's lived in Douglas County for 22 years. You are my commissioners, all three of you, whether I voted for you or not. The fact that one of you decided to blatantly lie about Dr. Aiko Browning makes me nauseous. This resident of Douglas County is an American citizen. She dedicated her life to saving lives. In fact, I feel very confident that if any one of you guys landed in her office with, God forbid, cancer, she would do everything she could to save your life. And here you are putting her and her family in danger. I ask that you please issue a formal apology. It's the least you could do. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We're going to close. With that, we're going to close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any commissioner comments. Are there any commissioner comments?
No, as ever, citizen comments are welcome. We do ask them to be factual and informed.
Any additional commissioner comments? Well, I do have some comments, and I want to begin by saying thank you. I always have believed that we are here to serve you, not the other way around. And we may not always agree, but it's really tremendous to have citizens take, I mean, this is middle of the day, and you're taking time out of your days to be here with us and speak to us, and I really do appreciate that. That's meaningful. I am really passionate about making sure that citizens of all backgrounds, I don't care race, religion, creed, sexual orientation, whatever, you have a place here in Douglas County and a right to be heard. And I'm deeply committed to that, and my record demonstrates that. In fact, my best friends from law school are Asian Americans. Sherlock, who decided to move to New Zealand with his wife, and Lung Hung, who's a judge up in Washington. Some of my closest friends from law school. And, to the Asian American community, you have a place in Douglas County, and you are welcome here. I don't want to speak for my colleague. He can speak for himself, and he often does so. But I'll just share with you what I know about him to be true. He is passionate about public safety, serving his community, and making a difference here. And I know that some of his closest friends are people of all different backgrounds, and he certainly has no ill will towards people of any background from my personal connection with him. What I do know is that we were briefed, and many of us had heard that there was an active federal investigation around foreign influences in the No Kings campaign. Now, I don't know if that's true, but we heard that information, and that investigation is pending, and that's a national campaign. Obviously, the local campaign was also called something very similar. So there might have been a connection there that Commissioner Teal drew. I don't know that to be the case, and I didn't make those comments, and I won't speak for him. But my understanding is obviously concern about foreign involvement in campaigns is a real thing. So we are concerned about that. But again, I'm going to go back to the issue of our democratic process and our constitutional republic. I don't attribute what happened with home rule to any one individual. And Dr. Browning should be commended for her work in oncology and how she serves our community like many other health professionals, and for engaging in the democratic process. But the exit polling showed it was just a confusing process for everybody in an off-cycle election. So I don't credit it to any one individual. But local control is important to both sides of the aisle, to all people. I've heard that for 8 years, whether you're a city council member or a commissioner. Having local control over issues is a priority, and I'm proud to continue talking about local control with those that want to have that civil discussion. Any other commissioner comment?
No, but I just think it's important that we do have a civil discussion. I do think it's important that we have a civil
We have heard from
discussion.
citizens, and I know you're a Democrat and very active. We're going to listen to the commissioners.
Sir, hey,
this is.
Can we get some help?
Okay.
Sit down.
We're talking to the individual that just spoke out, who has run for Democrat office several
There's
times.
no point.
Okay.
Okay.
We are going to ask for order in this room. Okay, sir? We had citizen comment. It is now commissioner comment. And people shouting. We didn't shout. We all patiently listened to every single person in here, okay? So
Mr.
now
Chair-
we're going to patiently listen. Let's just be respectful.
We sat respectfully and listened to the citizen comments. I served for over 10 years at the state capitol, never had a meeting of outrage and absurdity like this. Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, we need to review the respectful nature of our citizen comment time, because there is a time for that. We have our emails, we put our phone numbers out there. You can contact us anytime. We have multiple email addresses. Mr. Chairman, this meeting has reached a point of absurdity, and they're just yelling.
Well, I would ask for civil discourse. I think that's important. We have heard from citizens, have heard from commissioners. I'll ask for any new business before the Board of County Commissioners. Okay, turning to the county manager report. Anything from the county manager? All right. Well, the next business meeting will be held on Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. You are welcome to attend. This meeting is adjourned.